In 2003, professional boxer and heavyweight champion Mike Tyson declared bankruptcy with $300 million in debt, despite having earned more than $30 million over the course of his career. This raises a very fundamental yet profound question about money, because behind many of our actions, decisions, and motivations in life lies a desire or need to earn money. But if the real problem is not earning money but managing it, then what is the true point of acquiring it in the first place? Today, Americans hold credit card debt at levels never seen before in history. The lesson to be drawn from this is clear. Debt is often an invisible burden carried on the backs of the most vulnerable segments of society. Of course, this data comes from the United States and the United Kingdom. But I want you to pause for a moment and look at your own life. What is your relationship with money like? What does money mean to you? Does it feel like something that disappears the moment it enters your life? Has it ever put you in a difficult situation? Has it made you feel closer to a system that promises quick wealth, or to someone saying, "Take this course and you'll get rich"? But here is something I have clearly realized. Our perspective on money can sometimes be far more important than our ability to earn it, especially if our brains are wired in ways that prevent us from acting financially rationally. If you earn a six-figure income but have nothing left at the end of the year, is that really success? Where exactly does the problem begin? It is time to figure this out. Not only that, but we also need to develop a healthier perspective to truly understand money. This perspective is often discussed in personal finance circles, but is largely ignored in formal education. So let us ask a basic question. What is money? Or more accurately, what does money represent? When you buy something from Amazon or work a job and receive a salary in exchange for your labor, what does money mean in these transactions? Money is generally defined as a medium of exchange that facilitates the buying and selling of goods and services, but this definition does not really explain what money represents at its core. In my view, the most accurate way to look at money is this. Money is an expression of value. You pay a certain amount of money for something because you believe the value of that thing is equal to the money you give. You do not set the price. The market does. But the core idea remains the same. Money represents value. Why is this important? Because we often attach moral meaning to money. We have all heard the phrase, "Money is the root of all evil." When we look at someone who is very wealthy, we often think, "They must have been lucky," or "Who did they exploit? Whose rights did they trample?" But we almost never ask this question. What value was created in exchange for that money? Understanding that money is merely a representation of value also means understanding that money itself is not inherently bad. Money does not make people bad. Yes, there are scammers who try to sell worthless things as if they were valuable. But that is not the fault of money. It is a matter of human ethics. Money simply expands your options. How you use it is entirely up to you. So if money means value, what does this change for someone living paycheck to paycheck or drowning in credit card debt? Honestly, nothing by itself. Looking at money differently sounds nice, but what is the practical outcome? This is where another question becomes necessary. What is your relationship with money? Money enters and leaves your life. This relationship is usually understood through income and expenses, but there is a clearer way to explain it. Production and consumption. Money usually enters your life when you produce value. For most of us, this is our labor and our job. Money leaves when you consume something, subscriptions, cars, houses. A person's net worth is essentially the result of the balance between production and consumption. Remember the statistics at the beginning of the video. Which side of this balance do you think the problem lies on? Pause for a moment and think about your own life. How much of the money you have earned so far is still with you? How much of it has been converted into an asset? Where do you think the problem is in this relationship? Most likely on both sides, but for most people the main issue is consumption. Research shows that even a significant portion of high-income earners live paycheck to paycheck. If someone who earns far above the average cost of living still cannot hold on to their money, then the issue is not production, but consumption. Countless examples of people who became rich and then went bankrupt prove this point. The so-called rat race is often confused with working a 9-to-5 job, but that is not entirely fair. It completely ignores people who enjoy their work or see it as a tool. The real rat race is living constantly on the edge financially. It is being dependent on the next paycheck, watching money disappear the moment it comes in. As responsibilities increase, this becomes even more dangerous. A job loss, an unexpected health issue, or a sudden event can turn everything upside down. This is mentally exhausting. Work stops being a choice and turns into a survival tool. The good news is that this is not destiny. The first step in personal finance is becoming aware of your relationship with money. Writing down your expenses, categorizing them, getting to know yourself as a consumer. It is a difficult process because most of us want to avoid unpleasant financial realities. But once you pass this stage, you can take control. Budgeting, knowing how much you will spend on what and sticking to it, exist for this exact reason. The goal is to spend less than you earn and be able to set money aside. Before investing, it is also crucial to build an emergency fund. Why is living below your means so important? Because the alternative keeps you under constant stress. Chasing short-term pleasures, comparing yourself to others, social pressures, all of these fuel consumption. Today, the Joneses are no longer our neighbors. They are the people we see on social media. Finally, let me be clear. Consumption is not bad. Buying nice things is not bad either. The real issue is the difference between appearing to have money and actually having money. The true rat race is constantly chasing the next paycheck or the next purchase. This race pushes your bigger goals into the background. Gaining control over your spending, on the other hand, is one of the most powerful ways to break out of this cycle. In summary, first, get to know yourself as a consumer. Understand what you buy and why you buy it. Continuously monitor your spending. Then focus on the production side. Increase the amount of value you provide to society. This can be through a job, a project, or another form of creation. This perspective has added a lot to my life, and I am confident it will add value to others as well.